Welcome to the deep dive. So, based on the stack of materials you sent over, especially that note about To Kill a Mockingbird hitting an incredible 4.8-star rating, well, we're diving deep today.
Right, it's quite something.
Our mission really is to pull out the key insights from your notes and articles. We want to explore how this story, rooted in a kid's view of her small town, can light up these universal truths about justice, about human nature, that still hit home generations later.
It's truly fascinating, isn't it? I mean, looking through all that research you gathered, To Kill a Mockingbird isn't just called a timeless novel.
Right.
It's consistently flagged as, well, essential reading. Your sources really drive home how it goes deep into exploring racial injustice, moral growth, that whole complex journey in the American South. It gives us a lot to unpack.
Okay, let's definitely unpack that. Starting with the narrative voice, it's so unique. One of the articles you shared, it specifically mentioned the narrator being young Scout Finch. What is it about seeing this heavy stuff through a child's eyes? Why is that so compelling, so impactful? Does it reveal things we might otherwise miss?
Well, what's really striking, especially when you look at it through the lens of your materials, is how Scout's innocent viewpoint lets the novel tackle these huge themes. We're talking empathy, prejudice, justice.
Yeah.
She presents them with this kind of raw clarity. It sets up a really powerful contrast between her childhood innocence and frankly, the social corruption all around her.
That makes sense.
And this sort of unfiltered way she sees things without adult cynicism getting in the way, it makes those hard truths about people and society even more, I guess, more undeniable for us as readers.
So building on Scout's perspective then, your sources also really focus on Atticus Finch. He's often held up as this moral beacon, I think your notes called him.
That's a common description, yes.
What makes him stick with people? Why is he still so powerful decades on? And, thinking about some of the critical essays you sent, are there things that maybe complicate that picture a bit, make him feel more real?
Atticus really does function as the novel's ethical compass. And what your materials tend to emphasize is it's not just that he's good, it's how he embodies his principles.
Okay.
His unwavering stand against racial injustice,
Right.
the quiet dignity he shows in court, even though the odds are stacked against him, that makes him a timeless symbol. Integrity, moral courage.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you're right. Some of the more nuanced sources you included point out that his morality isn't always, let's say, comfortable, or even immediately successful in changing things legally, which actually, I think, deepens his realism.
Right. It's not just a simple victory.
Exactly. His commitment to empathy, even for people who are fundamentally against him, like Mrs. DuBose or even Bob Ewell.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is. But it shows him consistently modeling courage through this quiet determination. It's like a masterclass, not just in legal ethics, but in everyday moral strength. It shows how hard it is to live by your convictions in a world that's, well, deeply flawed.
Your materials also highlighted the novel's prose. Simple yet powerful. That almost sounds contradictory, doesn't it? Like a magic trick.
It kind of does.
How does that style, that seemingly straightforward language, especially coming through Scout, manage to carry such profound weight? How does it resonate so deeply?
It's really brilliant, actually. The strength of that plain style, as your notes point out, is its directness. Lee often uses these short, clear sentences. It mirrors how a child might see things. Very direct, no varnish.
Okay, I see that.
So this stripped-down language means the big moral conflicts, the raw impact of prejudice, the struggles of conscience, they just stand out more sharply.
They hit harder.
They hit harder, exactly,
Yeah.
with undeniable clarity. They don't get buried under fancy literary stuff. And that accessibility, combined with just immense emotional and intellectual depth, that's absolutely key to why it lasts, why it's a classic, giving us vital historical insight.
So thinking about your own notes, the articles you pulled together, what stands out to you about that idea? A simple story, packing such a punch. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, if we're all capable of that kind of quiet courage when we see injustice.
I mean, ultimately, the novel feels essential. Not just because of its deep ethical core, but because it gives us such crucial historical insight. Insight into racial injustice, yes, but also into that journey of moral growth within a community.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the past, not as something locked away, but as something that still echoes today, still informs our present.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's just so clear that To Kill a Mockingbird is still a vital read. It's not just, an engaging story.
No, definitely not.
It's the profound questions it forces us to ask. about navigating prejudice, finding empathy, standing up for what's right. It really pushes you to reflect on these timeless themes.
And if we connect that back maybe to the bigger picture, how a child's view lights up these universal truths, the novel really makes us think about how individual moral courage, like Atticus shows, can actually confront these deep-seated societal prejudices.
Hmm.
And just as importantly, what role does innocence, like Scouts, play in pulling back the curtain on those truths? It leaves you with a pretty important question, I think. In what ways do we still see that tension, that clash between individual morality and social corruption playing out right now in our world? And what can we maybe learn from the quiet courage of characters like Atticus Finch today?